This is a story about discovering the signs. Well, she is gone. My wife of 3 years has had issues for a while now, and she walked out before to get away and think. She started calling soon, regretting her discussion. She left her things, so I did not think it was over and ended up going to get her. Now almost a year later, Friday I came home from work and her stuff was gone. No note or any message. It drank a lot to get through the next 2 days, and Sunday night went to bed sober, cold sweats and no sleep, convincing myself the signs were always there from the start and it had to happen to get through. This morning she left a voicemail from her mother's phone, blocked so can call back, and said she was in Colorado with her parents and she wanted a divorce. I heard no sadness or difficulty in her voice. She said she would call back later to give me a number to contact her. Her phone was under my mother's contract that got turned off when she left. She did not take much other than her clothes and had said before she would not want anything from me. Most everything is in my name, and especially the house we built, and most of what is inside it is on my credit cards. So, we do not really have any money or things to split, so we should be able to handle it online here in Wa State. What my reason for posting is I am anxious for her to call back and talk to her and get her info so I can finish filing, and ask her if she is going to want something and how to handle what she did not take. Turning out long anyway, but hearing her background and what she did during the marriage, not one person alive could argue against this. I am her 6th husband. I had only known of the last one when we married. Was not till she lost my trust I started looking through her past and found the others. Most all have about the same time length as with us. So, I will not be blaming myself one bit. Hope this helps me through faster. I am doing better, angrier after hearing her voicemail. Keep reading up to 4 months grieving. Is that the same feeling all the way through? Cause having trouble eating since. Hope to get where I can share more and work on the story of our time together. Thanks. Oh, is there a list of dealing with the beginning stage? Did not look yet, but I am wondering how to deal with us around the house. Going to go to store for food in case I cannot eat because it was our food. How do you deal with the rest of things? Don't want to get rid of our furniture or the house. In the beginning I saw it and thought it was because she was divorced and that was affecting how she dealt with me. Think she always kept her distance from me too. Never was able to talk to me and tell me about herself. She is 41 and married 5 other times with no children. My conclusion for what she is after is someone who can get her pregnant. Once she saw I could not do that, she bailed. Obviously, she had a problem with her part, so yeah, she will be doing this again. She moved in with me within a month of meeting since she lived with her parents. She might have got pregnant a few months later, but never made it. Said it got stuck in the tube, and never had any pictures to prove this. Do not know if I trust her on that. So, she wanted to be married before it was born, so we planned a quick wedding within a year. After the miscarriage we still decided to follow through with wedding. Struggling to get out and go somewhere. Now the thought of going alone has got my stomach messed up. Thinking of going somewhere without her I cough, ready to throw up. Having a hard time finding any divorce support around here and cannot afford counseling. Have one place down the street I am going to talk to for a start. Contemplating going to her work to find out if she had just left or gave them 2 weeks notice. They had over $100 disappear in the last couple weeks. Think she may have taken it now and afraid they want me to repay. Will it be easier to know this or not? Feels tougher not knowing what happened and her not getting back to me with her info to file. It does feel like she is controlling the situation. I am in limbo until she gets in touch. Do not dare to start selling things off until I know I can. Cannot believe how hard it is to find help in my area. Cannot find any support groups for divorce. Counselors I cannot afford, but few handled divorce, and ones I came to find were out of business. Came to the mall, looked at books, nothing that is going to help me. All I did was walk around and come right back out. Searched for my phone and it is lagging out, not loading pages right. Those not meant for mobile. I guess. It is a yucky windy day, so cannot find the mood to work around the house. I could not stop at her work. Thought I could call and ask for her to find out what I needed to know. I am not religious and would not be interested in faith help. Not into exercise, so do not feel that could be for me. Cannot afford to drive around with nowhere to go. Comments. A walk away wife asking to come back, and then a year later. The 3rd year, wanting nothing from you but a divorce. That could very well be an affair sign. Let me be the first to point out that the honeymoon ends after about a year or 2. And then the boundaries stage comes into play, where both of you argue but come to agreements on everything. Your wife left as soon as she had to put some work into the marriage. Matter of fact, she does not even realize that marriage gets better over time because she always quits. Probably she must have planned her escape forever and would have been just looking for excuses to hate you. Must have been the same for the other ex-husbands too. Now I know you do not want to hear this, but you need to let her go and face the very likely probability of divorce. You need to agree with her and let her go anyways for any positive outcome. But this will save you the emotional hurt more than anything else. I do not want to fill you with false hope of reconciliation, even though it is possibly. Simply because you are her 6th husband. That means she either married one man after another and then dropped him when things got tough, or did something else to avoid taking responsibility, like cheating. Really what you need to focus on here is that she was looking for a way out and a better life once the honeymoon ended and things got tough. She dreamed of a perfect life that no one could possibly give her. You did not do anything to make her go. She found faults in a healthy relationship. You did not beat her, cheat on her, drink and emotionally abuse her. Then it was a healthy relationship, though codependent as it might be. Since you have this dirt on her and are her sixth husband, I want you to use that bitter feeling to avoid her at all costs. Be the ex-husband different from all the rest who will not enable her to keep calling you as she pleases or enticing you back only to turn cold. She broke your trust and your heart, so now she will have to prove herself worthy of your attention and affection. Even if you do not think you will hear from her ever again, believe me you will. OP responds, just found out she did give her 2 weeks notice at work. So, she knew and still lived with me at least that long. Knowing her decision should help move towards the angry feelings. To wife, you hurt me and I was very angry when you left. I spent the next 2 days drinking till I passed out. Sunday, I knew I had to work, so I went to bed sober and spent the night waking up in cold sweats. Monday night I got some sleep aid and went right to sleep through the whole night. I was able to take the week off. This is same reason I took my last vacation, remember? I know we had a long troubled marriage and it was not working. How you left was wrong way to handle it. You knew I was done giving you chances. All you had to do was admit you wanted to give up and we could have worked through the divorce together. I know you planned to leave for weeks before, so you chose to use me in the end. You did not give either of us a chance to say goodbye. You left the way you did because you wanted the control, you wanted to hurt me. You did, but the hurt is quickly shifting to anger. Anger is letting me get through this. I do not want to do the same to you, but I have thought about us and I do not think I ever truly loved you. I think it was just the thought of being with someone and wanting the wife, kids, and family life. What I think you were after from me was for you to have kids. Either that or the infatuation with a new relationship. Once that wore off and you had to work at it, you could not take it. I have seen the dates of your past marriages. Those are not normal. The grieving of a loved one is longer than that. They all lasted about if we did, so no matter what I did for you, gave you, or loved you, it was not going to change your pattern. I am going to learn from this. You have helped me grow up and make big changes in my life. I am not going to go back to who I was. I have had a taste of married life. No, I will find someone else and just be a bit more cautious. I am going to miss you and hope to eventually focus on the good things we had and came from our time together. Comment. Just wait it out and keep banging your head against the wall until you decide worrying about her is not worth the headaches. Takes a couple weeks of crying yourself to sleep, but eventually this too shall pass. Now it is possible she will toy with you from time to time to see if you still want her and try to arrange a deal where she can come back if her plans for a better life do not work out. Do not fall for her crap. Anytime you are ready, go ahead and reach back up into your pelvis to pull your testes back out. Get back to your hobbies you had before her. Exercise more, quit drinking, and make as many female friends as possible. Never complain about your ex to another woman you find physically attractive. This last part will take you a few months and you should not even concern yourself with a good time. But I promise you there are more women out there that will appreciate you and help take your mind off your STBX quitter. Give yourself a few months to heal, but try to get out of the house and do something you find enjoyable. If you cannot bear to look a woman in the eyes or make small talk, then so be it. I am not telling you to cheat on your marriage, but to enjoy the presence of other women. Still try to get out your shell and find other things to focus on. When you are home alone, stay away all communication devices and find distractions that make you happy. There is this great invention called an Xbox that you can play games and watch Netflix on. Best part is now you can play it and not be nagged for it. I have been divorced for a month now. She left me for an immature jerk. Still hurts some. But the best part about being divorced and having worked on bettering myself for so long is that every woman I talk is impressed that I had what it took to be a good husband and did not let her sour me. Women absolutely love divorced good guys. Not wimps, but interesting and challenging good guys who appreciate marriage. Now you are more in touch with your feelings, like changing yourself. Will work hard on future relationships, and best yet, you are already broken in. As far as I am concerned, walk away wife are the biggest idiots to toss away good men for liars, impressive jerks, and soul-crushing disappointment. OP responds, really struggling now with trying to throw out her plants she grew. I do not want them as a reminder but cannot. I hate to waste the pots and dirt, so want to just rip out the plants. I was going to try planting my own that I pick out, some ferns she never wanted or let me have a fern. Going to go search for how to change things to mine instead of thinking of it as ours. Everything we got was what I wanted. I always made the decision. So, convincing myself everything is mine, it was my choices, my styles. All she did was say, yeah, looks fine, get it. I did see a few things I thought she picked out, but I am not sure if she really did. If I did not want it, I would have argued or told her no until she found something else. Holy crap, I think I am codependent as well. Before her I stayed in my studio apartment for 8 years, only leaving to get groceries, even going at night to avoid people. When I meet her, I wanted companionship so bad I was all for a fast relationship. I ended up giving up my hobbies and interests to give her anything I could afford. We spent every moment together and I needed her to be able to go out and suffered anxiety when she had me go to the store by myself. Our one time with AMC told us we needed our own separate activities with people. We never got to do that, at least not me. I guess she did with going to her phone with friends through texting. Phone just rang, answered it thinking it could be her. Nope, was a debt collector being after me a few years. Told them I could not afford it, that it was for a membership that was cancelled and paying the debt I would have nothing to show for it. Then proceeded to tell her I had more bills than money I made with my wife and now she just left me. So, I might not make it as it is now. So if I must decide between a living on the street in a cardboard box or paying the debt, guess which I will choose. So, she did not threaten me and said it will just be stayed in collection and hung up. She finally called, just finished talking after she left last Friday. Kept my composure and did not want to be eager. Apparently, she did not expect me to close the bank account. She still had checks written and her last check to be deposited. Well, sorry, but I did not know where you stood or your attitude. I admitted at first, I blamed her and did not know what I did, but after a few days here I found out that I was not innocent. I told her I was controlling and I was from the beginning and codependent. She told me what she was mad at me for, but I did not try and attack her for anything she did. I agreed with her leaving and did not blame her for doing, just that walking away without a note was the worst way to handle it and she agreed. I said I was not going to beg or expect her to come back anytime soon. Just asked to give us a year to see how we can change from this. She told me she was not coming back here to Wa State. I have another year left here before I can sell the house anyway. I was able to get some free counseling and think she liked the idea of me getting help. Maybe I asking to be strung along so she can keep hurting me over and over. But I know we could not be together now no matter how much I begged anyway. I just asked her to consider separation and not be so quick to give up. Yes, she has been married before and so it was easy for her to walk away from me without trying. I wanted her to see that I might be worth fighting for. Maybe as others are saying that in time, I will learn to be a better man and when she wants me back, I'll have moved on, at least it'll be easier for me. At first I see today, covered a lot of ground compared to our 1MC session. I have learned I had controlling issues, codependent, and selfish behavior during the marriage. Today I find it was there before I met her. She says this is my time to think about me and work on me. I am going to post my emails between my walk-away wife. She walked June 1st then after a voicemail few days later asking for a divorce. We have been talking more about our she originally planned to wait till end of Sept till after her friend's wedding. But we got excited and I had her a plane ticket for a few weeks ago. Then she talked to some psychic instructor that told her we should wait till the September date. I was okay along as she was coming back. She had been invited for a weekend with her friends and was suggested to turn her phone off to avoid distraction. After not calling me that Sunday I texted Monday to ask if she was okay. She responded yes, not back yet. So, I left her alone. Then another week of no contact. I was going nuts. She got a jury summons the Friday so I sent her an email about it and it bounced. She had cancelled her email and I could not get through on her phone anymore. So desperate I sent a message to her sister-in-law on Facebook and looked up her on there too. What got her was I phoned a phone record that had her best friend's number on it and sent her a text asking what was up. That got her to start these emails. What I would like feedback on is she sound mad, hurt, or she is being influenced. The last we talked she was in love with me and was anxious to come back. So, what happened? Was it the needy desperate me that pushed her away? She will not answer my questions regarding her stuff, why, and comment about that address means she is stalling till she gives me a new one. Just wondering what she is up to. I sent the last email last wed and no response. Email starts now, but it is backwards so starting at the end. You never sent any email about a divorce or link. The only time you said anything about it was the first phone call you made to me. I used. There is no cheap way to do it. $290 is a court filing fee. No, my way or your way to it, that is how it is. I am sorry to inconvenience you. You should have been doing it yourself if it was so important. You could have told me while you were still here you wanted one so we could have done it together. If I filed without any contact info it would have cost more and took longer. They would have to put ad in the newspapers down there to give you notice. Why aren't you talking to me about the other stuff I keep asking about? Why did you decide this now and not wait till the end of September? Why not come back to see if things are different? Did you ever mean the things you said about loving me forever? I cannot comprehend how you can go from our texts together to this in such a short time. I already tried the threat with her stuff, but she has never responded to any about it. I am in WA and she is in Co with her parents, so she just cannot come over. She is a walk-away wife and told me she wanted nothing and was not going to fight so we could have a clean divorce. The stuff she left was family heirloom stuff I could not toss being the decent guy I am. I bought her the car and it was in my name since she destroyed her credit in her last marriage. It was not what she wanted so being in Co she is not going to take it. I am good lately and working on myself, but still curious what she was up to sending an email like that. All I need from her is a mailing address and someone to come get her stuff. Another round of emails. How am I doing? How does she sound in the last email? Sound unsure, like she is doing this to punish herself for not being open and honest with me. I do not think we should file yet after that. How would I respond to her? Either not to and wait till she emails me again, or with a then you need to get a job then, don't you? Or tell her we should wait because she does not sound ready. We were together 4, married for 3. Her parents retired and moved to Co, and she saw that as a way out and soon left. She did distance herself as far as lack of bonding the 3 weeks before. Other than that, no obvious signs of what was to happen. And yeah, even now the only thing she is giving me is I would never be able to trust her. She had been lying to me about smoking and other stuff since we first met, and I never could trust her and always was suspicious. She just sounds like she is doing this for me and to hurt herself. If it was about her sleeping around, it was only recently when she visited some friends. Would explain the sudden turnaround. I did end up emailing her last night and got a simple reply, but she still is not giving me her address so I can send her the papers to file. Asked her plenty of times, so why keep stalling if she is so sure? I had a weak moment and emailed her to once again ask for an address, and thanks to Sin ask if it was someone else. Got this back. I don't know if I can get back to get my stuff or not. No, I have not met someone else. I just have things I need to work on and I need to do it on my own. I've depended on everyone for too long. Oh my god, can't she just have her moment and after she fixes herself come back? Why does she feel the need to start over from scratch? I mean, she wanted nothing from us but her clothes and the computer. Think on that note I will go no contact for a while. Hard to let someone go without knowing why. So far all I can see was a woman confused that was not in a life she wanted. Hard to believe she cannot have her time to rethink and become the person she will need to be either way. She did not leave for anyone else, or she stopped loving me. She left because we had stresses of money issues. Lack of time together with her work. And me not helping with chores. I cannot accept that as an end right now. Not with her beating around the bush in her emails about closure. I am controlling and insecure. I am also a good person and cannot give her a reason to hate me and justify her leaving. I am still connected to her until we are divorced. I do not want to burn bridges until we are. She has a lot of debt, and with jury duty I do not want that coming back on me. I think I understand now. I must let her go. Even if she came back now after the 4 years of her lying and dishonesty with me, always insecure and suspicious of her every day. I could never trust her. Heck, I would not even know how a relationship with her would be like with trust, since we have never had it. So, the person I married and knew is gone, and I never can let that woman come back. So, I started getting the divorce papers signed and filled out so I can get them sent to her to sign this week. I keep thinking back to past girlfriends and what I felt at the end of those relationships. I know they ended, but do not remember it. So, if I got past them, I could do it again. I have been grieving, but I cannot do it forever. I do not think I am grieving over the loss of my wife. I knew she was a bad, messed up woman from the start. It is the loss of someone to keep me company. The loss of knowing I got the family now I am ready to grow old. It is the being alone that is messing me up. I know my wife left to save me. She knew how she treated me was wrong. Well, after a week she initiated contact through email again. This time she put more effort into it. Not sure how to take it, but does not sound like she understands what is going on. If we are divorcing, why tell me about your family issues or hope I was okay or expect to talk to me later? Any idea what is going on in her head with this? Is the NC stuff working? I haven't heard from you, so I thought I would email you. I hope that you are doing okay. My grandma has been in the hospital for almost a week. They cannot find anything wrong with her but are keeping her. I am sorry that I have not been very nice or very talkative lately, just a lot on my mind. Where are the divorce papers so that I can sign them and send them back? Talk to you later. I am doing not want to respond till she emails again. This email doesn't warrant a reply to me. She will get the papers when she gets them, unless she has $300 to file and the next husband waiting. What's the big hurry? Yes, I have been stalling. Want to hold out till the end of next week. Then include a letter stating this is what she wants, so she needs to take responsibility and pay for the divorce herself and not ask mommy. I have been doing better lately. Made the mental list of the pros and cons of R with her, and cons are winning. Yeah, being lonely sucks, but that is no reason to get her back. I also realized today I was lucky she is a walk-away wife and that she left wanting nothing. No divorce battle, splitting assets, or selling the house. I think I am doing pretty good to have all this stuff still. He has not re-emailed, and today I have been getting anxious. I know I should not think about it, but I still do. Weekends are the hardest for me. Yesterday I got to get out and went to the drag races with the guys. Today it is 4:30 and I have been trying to motivate all morning to get out and go to some stores. Money is super tight, so I know I cannot tempt myself to spend any and figure why go. So, am I doing good dealing with the wife and not responding and waiting for to email again? I do not really know how to respond anyway. Was stalling the papers so she has more time to think. Do I keep that up? Neither of us has the money to file anyway. I already paid to have the papers written, thought it was for everything. So, the other amount I want to hold her to. It is too much to ask me to be the one to file and pay for it. I am trying to be in a better place. It worked for a short time, but weekends are killing me. Hope I can get these vitamins to help my mood. Today I mailed her the papers to sign, so making progress. I am feeling better with it. I know how we were together was not good. So, I do need to think of it that way, that I have a chance to find someone else and is not going to have all her problems. I think I mentioned in a post when I joined that I was her 6th husband, so odds were against me in the start. Tonight, I went through my backup hard drive to delete her from that. It hurt a little to delete videos, pictures, and the wedding folder, but no reason to keep that around. I never sent that last email I posted, was angry and do not want to go there with her. I will just not do anything and wait. Just sold her car, wow that hurt. Got beat up, but more than I had. Asked 25-0, a guy got it for 1,005. Sucked to see the car driving away. I have been separated for 3 months from my walk-away wife. I have been moving past it knowing she has more issues than I want to deal with anymore. I have even started talking to other women online to help see there is better out there. My problem I am posting about is my mother does not seem to have. She brings it up and has me talking about the past like it is still an ongoing issue. Now she wants to make a post on Facebook to have a night out for me to be with friends and family. I do not want to and have no interest in doing such a thing. I have always been a non-social person. It is just how I am. I have lived this same way for the last 10 or so years and nobody bothered me about being this way before. So, her pushing me to do things is just pissing me off and making things worse. The more irritated I get towards her telling her to stop. She tells me I have misplaced anger issues, which just makes me even more angry. She got me counseling with her insurance from work, but she had to go and be there with me. So, it ended up a wasted effort and was about my mother needing to give me space. Waste I say because I was trying to deal with losing my wife. Well, now my mother's all upset because I told her she was just irritating me by what she is doing. So how do I get her to knock it off? She keeps doing this. Well, came home and she was waiting for me. Things did not go well. She does not think she is doing anything bad. It was about me ignoring her and being angry with her. She admitted I was not this bad about visiting her before my wife left. So, I told her then I will eventually get back to that point. But the more she forces me to do it, the less I want to. She thinks I am isolating myself from society by staying at home. Even gave my crap because I do not sit on the couch in my living room. Instead, it is either computer room or the TV in the bedroom. So, at least I am not wearing out my stuff. She said I am going to screw up the next relationship I have with my attitude. Eventually it got to the point she asked what I want her to do. I said let me go to work, come home, sleep and do it all over the next day. It is what I want to do. I have been moving on and getting past my wife. Even told her when she came over the other day, because I do not visit them. All she did was talk about was the wife and how I am dealing with it. What the duck, I am fine, so quit bringing it back up. Anyway, she did the well you know where we are, and have our number. Then when you're ready crap. She just said that last week, then sent a text today she was putting a get me out party announcement on Facebook. I just need to be left alone to work on myself. When I am ready to go be social I will. We would see if she heard any of that. Oh, and I told her she needs to respect my decision to not want to be social right now, and she said no, she was my mother and she raised me and I owe her. One more thing, she wants me to tell her every week that I am okay and alive. Really, is that normal request? I think she is making me worse. Months later, my wife and I have been separated 5 months now. First month and half was headed towards reconciling, then one day back to just file. Well, now for the past month we have back on track to try again, but yesterday got the divorce papers in the mail. This was totally unexpected and this morning I find out why. She said she is still in love with me but wants me to file so she can get health care from the state. She has been in abdominal pain for the last few years and it is worse now. She thinks she knows what it is, just cannot afford to get help. They say I make too much, but my debt to income leaves me with maybe $50 extra a month. I am in WA state. Is there anything else we can do without having to do divorce? Physically, I am good. Emotionally, this month has been getting much harder. Missing her and wanting her back, but she was trying to stay there to get health insurance. Last weekend was real bad, stir crazy. She said she will try and call so we can talk about it. I hope she will consider coming home for treatment. I just feel better if I knew she was serious about us staying together. She mentioned we would remarry, but I do not want to wait another few months till after she gets treatment to see her again. I do know she needs the divorce for the insurance. Does not need me for anything other than to file. I thought she may have been nice to get me to finish the divorce, otherwise I would drag it out to hang on to hope. Seemed like a lot of work, when all she had to do is stay firm on the divorce. But she kept acting like she did not really want it. In fact, even now she did not get the papers all signed. She did not call yesterday, and today emailing her about things still were not signed, and my paranoid fear she did play me. She called on my lunch and we talked things out. I confident we are still headed towards getting back together. That divorce is just the fastest way to get her treatment. They said they could start now but need the finalized papers to finish payments. They told her it can take 6 months for treatment, which is where we are at now. She had planned to stay in Co and visit me over Christmas and return to Co for the last few months. Now I do not understand, if she does not need her job for the insurance, why she couldn't come back home with me and go through treatment here. Hope with more contact with her I can stay sane to pass the time. I see others going for longer time apart and some saving their marriage. Do not know how the military can handle leaving their families for so long. She did finally answer my big question, why is she giving us another chance? She broke down and said because after all she had done to push me away with the lying, dishonesty about smoking, that I have continued to love and fight for her during this separation as well as before. So, it seems even with the 180 they still need to know you're still there and love them enough to hang on and fight. At least it looks to be in my case. My comment, I feel like she might have her fun outside, and realize the grass is not greener on the other side. Have you heard or seen someone who did this? Check out the other recent stories and let me prepare another long series.
Alright, everyone's presentations are done. Nick, the manager, said as he tried to move the discussion forward. Excuse me, I haven't. I recently found out something. Nick interrupted me and began to speak. There's apparently someone in this department who didn't graduate high school and is just a part-timer. Meetings should be for employees only. Absolutely right. His lackey, Mike, of course, agreed with Nick. I'm leaving. After leaving the meeting room, I started to shut down my computer. I noticed that an email had arrived, not in my personal inbox, but in the company's shared email. Thinking, there's no point in speaking up, no one will listen, I went home quietly. The next day, I heard a commotion from Nick's desk. He was staring at his computer screen, his face pale. Nick? Is something wrong? Mike looked at the screen with him. And he turned even paler than Nick. Why is he so angry? Knowing the reason for Mike's distress, I thought to myself, serves them right. My name is Adam. My mother passed away when I was in the 9th grade, and I was raised by my father. Well, you could hardly call it being raised. After my mother passed, my father changed. He drowned his sorrows in alcohol, and though he still went to work, he squandered our living expenses on horse racing. Because of that, I had to start working part-time as soon as I entered high school. Every month, I went to the convenience store with bills in hand that couldn't be auto-deducted from my father's account. Even though I endured it because I didn't want to be alone, I reached my limit in my second year of high school and dropped out. I found a live-in job at a distant inn. Thank you for everything. The day I left home, my father, still staring at the TV, spoke. Take care. That was our last conversation. Back then, 18 wasn't the age of majority, so I needed my father's permission to work, and I couldn't hide my place of employment. Yet, my father never visited me even once. I kept working just to survive, and before I knew it, I was 42. Years of hard work paid off, and I was transferred to the headquarters. I was thrilled to be recognized by the company, as I thought I'd be working in the field until retirement due to my lack of formal education. Listen up. Our work can change the future of our employees. Don't drag us down. On my first day after the transfer, Nick, dressed in an expensive suit, spoke sternly. There was a reason for this. Our inn was located in a prominent tourist destination, known so well that everyone in the state could sing its commercial jingle. At its peak, we had 5 locations within the state. But that was long ago. Due to financial difficulties and aging facilities, only the place where I had worked for many years and the original establishment remained. I was prepared to lose my job anytime, but now there was a glimmer of hope. With the rise of social media, the tourist area where the inn was located started gaining attention again. Depending on how hard the sales department, where I was transferred, worked, we could either thrive or be forced to give up this prime location to the new hotel chains continuously popping up. For Nick, who had switched careers from another industry to strengthen our sales, this was a battle he couldn't afford to lose. I understood why he had to be strict. I will do my best. Nick sneered at my enthusiastic declaration. Did you not hear what I said? I'm sorry. I thought I was listening carefully. Out of habit from years of customer service, I apologized reflexively, though I had no idea what had offended him. Someone was watching me with a smirk. In this department, there are those who are expected to excel and those who have been shoved here because they have nowhere else to go. You are the latter. It was Mike, the section chief. He's 7 years younger, at 35. But he was called to headquarters much earlier than I was and had been moving around within the headquarters ever since. I'm not jealous, but I can't accept that he's my boss. Graduating from a prestigious university, he has an unusually high pride and caused many problems as a newbie. making things very difficult for me when I was the front desk leader. When I found out Mike was transferred to the sales department a month before me, I was disheartened. Mike is right. With just a middle school diploma, there's not much you can do. Don't even think about achieving results. As if I didn't exist, Nick remarked, "I'm thirsty." Mike eagerly ran to the coffee maker. It seems Mike is Nick's lackey. I regretted being happy about my transfer to headquarters, wishing I had stayed on site forever. Send a direct mail to every company on this list by the end of the day. Nick only assigned me tasks that even a new graduate could handle. What? There are over 1,000 companies. You want me to send to all of them by today? Yes, if you and your fellow misfits split the work, even those with nowhere else to go should finish by today. I glanced at the employees typing away expressionlessly. They were worn out from customer service, only thinking about leaving on time, or were women reassigned after having children. With zero motivation for work. Even Sam, a new graduate from the same university as Mike, who was supposed to be among the expected achievers, had no enthusiasm for the job. Having joined the company wanting to do customer service. I don't care what they say, I plan to quit anytime, he said. Only Nick and Mike were highly motivated, making all the decisions between the two of them. I originally only wanted to work at the inn to survive and had no particular attachment to this job. I swallowed my words, thinking I had no right to reprimand them. About a month after the transfer, Nick told us with a frustrated look. To commemorate the 50th anniversary, we've decided to create a plan exclusive for one group per day. Originally, Mike and I were supposed to come up with it, but our president, Mr. Thompson, insists on hearing everyone's opinions. So, you all get a chance. As Nick explained, Mike began handing out prints. Make sure not to embarrass Nick. If your ideas are half-baked, you'll have to redo them. It seemed that they had printed his handwritten notes by Mr. Thompson, which included several questions and a section for free responses. It made sense why Nick had to seek our input, given that all responses had to be submitted to Mr. Thompson. We were given a week to think about it, and a meeting was scheduled to compile our ideas. My plan is to let guests enjoy both the old and modern America. Nick began the presentations. Guests would watch a master confectioner at a nearby traditional sweet shop make sweets in front of them. The welcome drink would be premium tea in a bottle. Nick's plan was certainly attractive. After his presentation, Nick called on us to present in the order we were seated. Just as I stood up for my turn. All right, everyone's presentations are done. Excuse me, I haven't. I recently found out something. Nick interrupted me. There's someone in this department who didn't graduate high school and is just a part-timer. He was likely talking about me. I joined the company as a part-timer and was made a full-time employee when I turned 20. That was 20 years ago, so Nick and Mike probably had no chance to know until recently. Meetings should be for employees only. Absolutely right. After that, Nick kept creating opportunities to solicit everyone's opinions, purposefully excluding me from speaking. The meeting unexpectedly heated up and went past the scheduled end time. A few people asked to leave, and the discussion continued with the remaining few. Still here? Normally, you'd leave in that situation. Though I had no attachment to the job initially, hearing kind words from customers made me want to make them happier. For someone like me, with nowhere to go, the inn was my home and customer service was my life. I felt pathetic about my current self. I'm leaving. I left the conference room and started shutting down my computer. I noticed an email had arrived, not in my personal inbox, but in the company's shared email. Thinking no one would listen to what I had to say anyway, I quietly went home. The next day, while preparing the DM as instructed, I heard a commotion from Nick's desk. In his haste to stand up, he hit his knee on the desk. He stared at his computer screen, his face pale. Nick! What's wrong? Mike, thinking he should be the first to rush over, approached Nick while still wearing his coat. He peered at the screen with Nick. And he turned even paler than Nick. Why is he so angry? Who is responsible for this company? Nick, more irritated than ever, asked, and Mike answered without checking. Probably Sam. Sam wasn't there because he was attending a morning training session for new hires. Nick gave up on getting angry and returned his gaze to the screen. They were looking at an email that arrived right after the end of the working day yesterday. Apparently, no one, including me, had checked it before leaving. The email was from a large company that used us for their annual employee trips. The president and executives of that company also frequently used our services personally. President of the company, Mr. Mason himself, had declared that neither he nor his company would ever use our services again. Well, some companies cancel their employee trips or stop using our services due to financial struggles. Let's just move on. Mike kept wiping the sweat from his forehead with a handkerchief. Knowing why Mike was so agitated, I quietly watched their interaction. Do you know how much revenue we get from that company? We can find other guests to fill the rooms, but we'll lose the banquet costs, gift shop revenue, rental car fees, and more. Moreover, the gifts were supposed to be prepared by the traditional confectionery shop involved in Nick's proposed plan. If it's known that we incurred such a huge loss at this critical time, Nick's position in the company would be jeopardized. Nick took a deep breath, seemingly trying to calm himself. All right, Mike. Go to New York right now and apologize to Mr. Mason. What? You're coming with me, right? I have urgent work to do. I trust you, which is why I'm entrusting this to you. Please. Mike, believing Nick's sincerity, agreed with a determined look on his face, saying, yes. That's Nick for you. Even if Mike went to apologize, Nick would shift all the blame onto him if the client didn't change their mind. Well, it was Mike's fault to begin with, so it served him right. About 3 hours later, Sam answered a call from somewhere and repeatedly apologized, saying, I'm very sorry. Everyone watched to see what was happening. After ending the call, he informed Nick with a weary tone. When Mike arrived at the client's company, he only made things worse, further infuriating Mr. Mason. He was demanding, get his boss here immediately. It was no wonder Sam was exhausted, dealing with such a call right after returning from training. What is that idiot doing? All right, Adam, you're coming with me. If sacrificing Mike didn't work, then I must be next. Normally, I'd want to refuse at all costs, but I saw an opportunity in this situation. If I can be of assistance, I'd be happy to join you. I obediently followed Nick, and we flew to New York. When we introduced ourselves at the reception, it became clear how serious the situation was, as the receptionist personally escorted us to the president's office. Angry voices leaked through the door, making both Nick and me uneasy. Excuse me. I'm Nick, the supervisor. I understand my subordinate has caused you trouble, and I deeply apologize. Nick, with his experience in the corporate world, knew enough to offer an apology before excuses. However, his customer service skills left much to be desired. I sighed as I saw Mike trembling like a small dog in the corner of the room. What kind of training are you giving your subordinates? Mr. Mason glared at Nick with a red face. The intensity of his gaze made even Nick take a step back. Regrettably, I joined this company only 2 years ago and was unaware of Mike's issues. I should have identified his shortcomings sooner. Indeed. I should have realized sooner. No sensible person would come to apologize and then give a lengthy presentation on the drawbacks of not using their in. Nick froze, his mouth slightly open. Suspecting the worst, I picked up the documents that had fallen to the floor. It seemed Mike hastily prepared these documents on the plane, listing the disadvantages. Disadvantage 1: if you change the venue for the company trip, employees might suspect it's for cost-cutting reasons, leading to a negative impression. Reading it aloud half-jokingly, Nick snatched the papers from my hand and checked the contents with a furious expression. Among the stack of documents was a receipt from a nearby convenience store's copy machine. I felt a pang of dread, hoping he hadn't shown the receipt as well. What do you think he said when I asked what kind of nerve he had to do this? I'm very sorry. Faced with the dire situation, Nick must have thought there was nothing left to do but apologize. In a voice smaller than I'd ever heard from him, he uttered words of apology. He said, I'm a Harvard graduate. I don't believe I said anything wrong. Mike, what have you done? Forgetting his plan to pin the blame on Mike, Nick yelled loudly, even in front of Mr. Mason. I didn't do anything wrong. You're still saying that? Look at him. Mike pointed at me with a shaking hand. I was assigned to headquarters in my 20s and now I'm a section chief. This guy only made it to headquarters at 42. Everything I've done proves I was right. So why are we losing the contract? Having said his piece, Mike collapsed to the floor. Of course. You were sent there because you had nowhere else to go. Mike never expected to hear such words from someone he looked down upon. He lunged at me, and Nick hurriedly stepped in to stop him. Mr. Thompson told me Mike is a quick thinker, and to take good care of him. There's no way he was pushed aside. Don't make things worse here. He didn't say quick thinker, he said only quick-witted, didn't he? I don't remember that part. I recalled the many troubles Mike caused when he was a newbie. When Mike was on the front line, his pride was so high that he never apologized to customers. Customer service, especially in our job, doesn't work alone. It brings both good and bad situations. If the front staff or housekeepers made mistakes, or the cleaning company didn't properly clean a room, one had to apologize to the customers regardless of personal fault. Mike, in such situations, would never apologize, insisting he wasn't at fault. This often angered customers, and as the front desk leader, I frequently had to apologize on his behalf. He caused complaints and disrupted operations, which is why he was quickly moved to headquarters. In departments where he didn't interact directly with customers, his quick thinking was beneficial and things went well. But it seemed his flaws were starting to show. Corporate reservations are supposed to be entered into the system by the sales representative. But a quick check yesterday revealed that more than 10 items were missing from the client's reservation. The handover document clearly stated what needed to be prepared. Why didn't you enter it into the system? Why do we have to give them special treatment? Filling rooms near the banquet hall, setting up all the food in advance. Specifying the brand of wine, they're too demanding. No wonder he always angered customers, I thought, feeling a headache coming on. Grouping them in rooms near the banquet hall is for our benefit too. It makes it easier for the staff to set up beds and serve breakfast since everyone's schedule is synchronized. As for the other requests, Mr. Mason suggested them to lighten our load. I didn't know that. Nick finally seemed to realize that Mike was the one who had angered the client. What did you say to them? I just told them we wouldn't give them special treatment anymore. We shouldn't waste effort on things that don't bring in money. I was utterly exasperated at his lack of understanding of customer service. Of course, we shouldn't comply with unreasonable demands. But carrying over successful practices from past stays makes customers feel remembered and enhances their experience. Good memories encourage repeat visits. That's part of our job. I looked down at Mike, who was sitting on the floor. In our job, nothing is a waste. Mr. Thompson likely moved you to the sales department, hoping you'd finally understand this. How do you think he feels now that you've failed to meet his expectations? Mike, tears in his eyes, fled the president's office. I was amazed he still hadn't apologized. You have it tough, Adam. It's okay, we're all employees of the same company. I deeply apologize for this disrespectful incident. Especially after all the care you've shown us. If it weren't for you, Adam, I really would have stopped staying here. When I heard you were moving to the sales department, I was willing to reconsider if you handled it. Seeing us talk so amicably, Nick's face contorted. Do you two know each other? Adam's service is excellent. I always requested him specifically. Normally, we don't accept specific staff requests, but we made an exception for Mr. Mason, adjusting my shifts accordingly. He had personally stayed at our hotel just before my transfer, and during casual conversation, I mentioned, I'm moving to the sales department soon. If I hadn't told him then, things could have been much worse. Please continue to take care of us. I look forward to it. On the return flight, Nick awkwardly offered me a can of beer. It's still working hours. Of course, I had no intention of forgiving him for a single beer. Nick might try to pin everything on Mike and avoid any consequences. While pondering this, a startling fact came to light. Nick, the tea bottles for the plan have arrived. I handed Nick a bottle labeled with our inn's name. They look good. What are you talking about? These are plastic bottles. I had assumed we would use the trendy, high-end bottling tea. But what arrived were ordinary plastic bottles of tea with customized labels. The only unique aspect was the label, which had the inn's name, making it look customized. Upon further investigation, I discovered that a substantial amount of money was set to be paid to the tea company. It was priced like bottling tea. Does this plastic bottle really cost $100 each? The tea inside is specially blended for us. The extra cost is for that. Wouldn't it be better to use another tea company? Or is there a specific reason we must use this one? As Nick continued to make excuses, I showed him a printed email. I informed the tea company's president, Mr. Mitchell, that we discovered irregular payments and he confessed. He said you two were high school classmates and planned to split the extra money. That idiot. Why did he confess? That's not important. You should worry about yourself, this could turn into a police matter. Opening the bottle cap, I suggested. How about calming down with this tea? It supposedly has a relaxing effect. Nick drank the tea frantically. In the following days, decisions were made about their fates. Mike was reassigned to the General Affairs Department, with no chance of transfer or promotion, as per Mr. Thompson's orders. As for Nick, since the payment to the tea company hadn't yet been made, he narrowly avoided legal trouble. Instead, he was encouraged to leave the company, and to avoid further complications, Nick submitted his resignation. Rumor has it that connections between HR departments have made it difficult for him to find new employment. Even though it was good to have those two gone, something unexpected happened in the sales department. Everyone became motivated and united in refining the 50th anniversary plan. In the end, my plan was adopted. We collaborated with the Tourist Information Center to provide personalized guides. The plan, tailored to the number of guests, was truly special for the 50th anniversary. Hey, is Adam's family coming to stay? I immediately booked that special plan for my family. Sam noticed it on the reservation list and quickly picked up on it. Yes, I'm inviting my father. That's great. I might invite my parents too. I lacked the courage to face my father just as Adam. But here, with the confidence Mr. Mason praised, I felt ready. The 50th anniversary plan was a perfect opportunity to reconnect with my father. I hoped to bring back the days when we could laugh together as we once did.